Hey, what's up? Um, Yesterday I played through Shadowgate and I made some notes on pixel art styles that I saw in it that I thought were really cool. And today, I have this program open and set up called Aseprite that's specifically for drawing pixel art. Um, and I got it all set up with, I mentioned Mac Paint yesterday, and that's what I think all the art was drawn in. I'm not sure who it was on the Shadowgate team who was responsible for the pixel art. It could have been maybe Dave Marsh or Carl Roloffs. But I think their style is really cool. I thought I'd start trying to copy them a little and just see what I could learn. I picked out some small little objects. These are cute, like a small orb, a larger orb, I didn't do like the cleanest job capturing these from the game, so they're like a little fuzzy looking, but kind of get them all the same size, more or less. Yeah, pretty much. Are those pixels bigger? Yeah, they are. Okay, I think all the pixels are the same size now. Anyways, I thought I'd draw a couple, the small orb, the larger orb, this skull, and this pouch, which I thought was very handsome. Um, because I have brushes that are all set up to do the different patterns now. That took a little configuring, but it works. So here in Aseprite, I can do this. I can do like drawing outlines like that with 1 pixel. Um, and then for the shading, I have these custom brushes. So that's like So that's one shade, one darker. I have hotkeys for all these. That's medium, that's darker still, and that's like the darkest one. So, and I can fill different areas, but none of these have filled areas. Anyways, so I'm feeling pretty pumped about this, feeling like it's gonna be a good time. Um, okay, so let's do an orb. Um, I think I want to just use this tool and see if I can't just get the right size orb going. Looks like I'm just kind of trying to measure. I think it's about like that. That seems about right to me. It goes like maybe like 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 2, 5. So it's probably more like this. This looks right, actually. I think this is it. Okay. And then what's going on here? We've got a big dark streak coming in about here. So like that, like that. This guy goes most of the way down. Oops. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, well, let's turn the pixel perfect thing off. That's good for like large areas, but not for detail work like this when you're dragging. Okay, so that, and then there's like a little break. I guess that's sort of a highlight. And then one of these. Cool, cool. Then you got one of these guys. And then right before Yeah, I went a little small. I can tell I went a little small here, but all good. Yeah, like that. And then we're doing like shading in. I wonder if this should move over a little bit. V is the move tool. Maybe I should just select like I actually know what I'm talking about. Okay. Back to the brush tool. This seems cool. All right. I'm going to do another layer. All right, so we're kind of shading in like this. And then shading the outer edge like that. Whoops. Okay, I don't love those. A little unwieldy, but okay. All right, cool. Does that look like a ball? That looks pretty close. I think I went a little smaller than they did. But yeah, so that's actual size. I like that. Okay. Yeah, mine's a little bit smaller. Let's try another time. Okay, so we'll go a little bit bigger. Ellipse tool, so Shift U. All right. What color do I have selected? Oh. Okay, so a little bigger. Okay, and then what did we do? We had like a little highlight here in the middle, or like a kind of a little, whatever hell you call this thing. Then this is coming down. So you have this arc that's kind of going out here on the side and then coming back in. But it follows the curvature of the orb, right? And then comes back in like this. And then this is like a little doodad. Where does it start? Yeah, pretty much, right? Like that, like that. And we're just kind of maintaining this 1 pixel distance between this and the edge. I like that. That's pretty good. That looks cool. And then coming back down in this little zigzag. Right, and then we shade in and shade out. It's pretty finicky. Okay. A little crowded maybe. Does this look like an orb? Like these are both pretty respectable orbs. It's really hard to do something this small. So respect to them for sure. I think there's like a size right in the middle of these two that is what this is. Maybe I shouldn't be leaning on this ellipse tool so much. Both pretty good though. Maybe I'll give it one more try. Shift U. just a teeny bit smaller. See what happens with that. So I'm going to clean up this thing. So we're giving it a little more width here. The middle. And then this is going to be a 2 pixel. And that's going to be a 2 pixel. Yeah, I think, like the ellipse tool is really cool, but it's not going to be, not all of these kinds of things are going to be like mathematically accurate. Sometimes it's probably going to like make sense to have it be like a little more of a bulging circle. All right. So we had this, then we had that, that, and then this touches diagonally, right? And all the way down here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then one of these little tetraces. And then this guy over here is right next to this 2 pixeler. That little guy, that little guy. This one's coming in right next to it, right? Is it like that? Oh no, it's not like that. It's like this. Okay, yeah, so it's like we're trying to do these little kind of discontinuous little curvatures inside of the orb, it looks like. And then for shading, we're shading inward from the, oh, I want to move this. V is move. Ugh, okay. M and then and B is back to the pattern. Okay. So now are we good? Yeah, I think we like this. And then here, we're coming down and shading like that. Okay, I think I want to clean this one up real quick because we lost our little, this guy. What happened with that? Okay, right? I'm not sure about this, but I think this is maybe the closest I've come. That looks great. I love how that looks. Okay, yeah, the shading is sticking really well to these. The shading really comes off very regularly from the edge of this guy, of this. I feel like that really reminds me of those horns that we were looking at yesterday. Like, bear with me here. I don't really know how this tool works yet. But remember how we were like looking at those horns, and it kind of seemed like they were doing like this. You know, like there'd be like a stroke inside of them. And then you'd have like shading along it like this. I feel like I saw that a bunch and it looked great. That's something I'd really like to get better at. Yeah, cool, but that's for another day. All right, let's do this bigger orb. Okay, big orb. What's going on here? Let's just take a look first. So, very similar. We've got the outer circle, and then we've got like an interior dark stroke that's broken again. And we've got shading that's coming off of it that's hugging the edge of it. And then here we don't have a stroke. We have just more like half, like 50% shading that's again dashed in like a very similar way. And then we have two star-shaped highlights. All right, feel ready. I feel psyched. All right. How big's this orb? Like big old orb, right? Feel like that's looking pretty good. Yeah, you know, make yourself comfy. Stretch out a little bit. Okay. Kind of match the freak a little. Okay. So now we're coming down to maybe like a 2 pixel, 3 pixel situation. And we're following the outline. Kind of like that. Yeah, I don't hate that. Let's clean it up a little bit. Okay. And then I think this turned into like a little one of these little upside down Tetris pieces here. Okay. And this actually wasn't that far in. Okay, so it's kind of coming in a little bit. All right. Yeah, how do we feel about this? Feel like pretty good. Okay, kind of like that. Yeah, I get what's going on. Now let's do the shading. So we've got shading that's really hugging the interior. Oops. Maybe I should be doing this on a separate layer or something. I feel like it's pretty good though. And then we have, it's all looking pretty continuous here. It's coming in like that. Okay, I like that. And then we had kind of matching stuff coming through here. And then a little more coming down like this and like this. All right, I don't hate that. It's kind of just like how close should it be to the edge? Be like that. Maybe it's coming down a teeny bit more. I feel like we want a little more contiguous area up here to really give it that curvature, that orbness. Okay, I kind of like the effect here. I think that's nice. What's going on out there? Yeah, like this is giving me a vibe for sure. I mean, that's an orb for sure. For sure, for sure. Right, so now let's do the highlights. We had one highlight that's like this star-shaped guy that's like 2 and 1. 1, 2, 2 and 1. And then we had another one that was like exactly the same, except it's like, or okay. Let's grab, yeah. So this one was down here-ish. Where's like a good placement? I think, oh, look, it's kind of on the kind of on the two opposite sides of like the diagonals of this orb here. So maybe we'll do the same thing. So that, and then up here. Oh, except we got to shave these off. Right? Oh, and maybe we could fill this in with white. Hopefully that worked. All right. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, like that is nice. That's nice. Okay. And then it's kind of clouding up the pattern a little bit, right? So let's just give it a little distance. Oh, brush tool. Okay, that's okay. I don't like hate that. Should it be further in like that? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ooh, should it be right next to the edge like that? Oh, let's see. It doesn't really set it off too well. If it's like that, how did they make it fit in so well? Is it bigger than I think it is? No, it's that size. I think what's happening though is we got a little space, maybe. Like maybe we're making a little more space around it so we just see it more. Okay, I think that's cool. It's doing this weird little thing where this curve is like kind of tucking into it there. See about that. Like that. That's kind of nice. Right, and then this is coming up like that. Okay. Yeah, okay, I mess with that for sure. That's great. Okay, that's an orb, baby. That's a great looking orb. Okay, I'm feeling very pumped about that. Let's move on to this skull. See how we do with this skull, because it's got like a lot of interesting detail. All right, where's a good place to start with this skull? I'm just going to merge down all these layers. Whoops. Okay, do we still have everything we want? Yeah. Oh, look at those great looking orbs, man. Looking great. Okay. All right. For the skull, I'm thinking about the details and what we got to get right. So it looks like we're starting with, let's just start with this kind of lockup, this really tight lockup between the two eyes and the nose holes. So let's start with, I can see that this is 3 across. Like that. I think it's like that. It can be a little too long. I think it's actually like this. Yeah, I think that's right. And then I see some distance around all of this. So I think it's like 2 up on either side and maybe 3 across. Hard to tell, but I think that's it. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so I think that's a good place to start. Are those eyes bigger? I feel like I can live with that. Okay, it's really hard to compare because I didn't do a good job capturing this. Okay, and then what I'm seeing is there's this dotted line and they're making a little, they're creating some definition about like the the curvature of the skull around the outside of the eye, like this. And then, and I think that's pretty much all the detail. Yeah, so that looks awesome. And then they're doing the shape of the, then we can do the shape of the jaw. Okay, I love this little asymmetry thing here. This is really cool. So they do like this little kind of chipped tooth little moment here. That's really cool. And this comes like all the way up to there, right? And then this comes out here. And then around, so we see yeah, the jaw. gets its definition. And there's like a little pixely moment in here for some reason. I'm not sure why that's there. Maybe they just don't want the heaviness. What are we seeing through that little gap? I'm not sure. Okay, and then this is coming all the way up kind of parallel to this brow. 2, 1, 2, all the way out to the edge of this eye. And then we also have like, okay, 2, 1. Yeah, and then this is all the way up next to it, right? That's great. And then this, oh, interesting. Oh, it's asymmetrical. Oh, look at this. So we're doing that. That's interesting. Okay, and then we got some doubles, but it's like, they're like, it's okay. Okay, I think that's the skull. And then we've got the shading in here, and it's really simple. It's 50%, but we can just draw it in and it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Okay, yeah, that is that skull. That is that skull, y'all. Okay. This looks great. I wonder if I can do kind of the same formula for a different skull, like a different reference image, and just kind of try like from a different perspective. Or I could try to do a bigger skull. Let's pull up some skulls. I was looking at them already. Um, let's do this one. This one looks great. Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's try this one. All right, so what's happening? What's the shape of this? It's looking a little sad. So like maybe like this. That looks pretty good to me. And we'll go symmetrical. It looks like we're dead on, so dead on, get it? Because okay. And then that gives us a little space to do this. How big will this go? Maybe like that. I think that's cool. It kind of comes to a point. Kind of decide what we want to do with that. Is there a preview window I can open so I can see it actual size? Whoa, crazy looking. Okay, no, that's awesome, actually. How does this work? Oh, I can do this. I gotta figure out how to use these tools. Okay, great. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So we'll fill them in. Is this looking kind of like the skull? I would say maybe a little too much on these sides. That's looking a little more like our guy. I like that. I think that's cool. Maybe just kind of tough because you don't want to like take too much off. I think that's good. Yeah, that's great. Let's do this. So what did I do? Like, yeah, yeah, cool, cool. And then here, it's not a ton of space coming in. Right. Did we want to throw a little detail around the like what they did? Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if it's a bad move to do this like straight on like this. Okay, but I really like getting to do a little moment with this line. That's really cool. That could be a really cool little shading moment there. So what's happening? We're kind of doing this. Whoa, too big. All right, which way? Which way do I like it? Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, like that. That's good. Maybe I should have been on symmetry mode. Let's see. Pretty got pretty close though. All right, and then that comes down like that. We had this coming on like that. To like that. Okay, and now we're totally symmetrical, right? I don't know if we want to be. And then let's see, the jaw is like a little too skinny, right? Like I kind of want him out like that. Yeah, this is cool. And then should we do something for the teeth? How like gnarly they are. Nice. And now I'm kind of wanting to do that little moment with yeah, finding this little moment with the curvature just to really set off the contour of let's see. If we do this, like that's kind of giving it to us. Could we do the same thing like in like that? Okay, that's kind of good. Does that give us a sense of the... His is so subtle, man. Wow. Yeah, I feel like this could come up. That looks better to me. And then like that. Whoa, that looks crazy. These make a huge amount of difference. Okay. I'm not like an expert skull drawer yet for sure, guys. But this is fun. Shave off a little of these sides. Get a little skinnier. Do we still want this little thing? It's kind of funny because I really have this tendency to like want to clean it up, but like I don't think it always helps for it to be so symmetrical. How else could we kind of convey this tooth situation? Could we do like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Or like that. That's nice. I like that. Oh yeah, that's great. So like, yeah, I think leaning into texture is like the hard part, especially when you don't have a lot of space. Really throws the proportions off like crazy. That's pretty okay though. I mean, it's not this. Should there be more going on here? All right. Mine's like pretty wonky. I feel like it's I feel like it reads as a skull though. What do we see? We see those holes. They're a little tall for sure. I don't think this really reads that clearly as like that's better. I think it's kind of cool to work at actual size and see what's up. Kind of like that. Okay, I feel like that's all right. I feel like this is like an okay skull. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Here's like a little another little contour moment. I love how I'm calling it contour like it's makeup. Okay. I feel like this is pretty respectable now. Yeah, I'm kind of into this. Okay, yeah, I don't hate this skull at all. For the front on, like the 100% front on skull, I think this is pretty decent. I think it reflects like what's going on here pretty well. Yeah, we get shading, we get contour, we have like some definition on the shape of the teeth and the face. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this at all. I think this is pretty respectable for a first try at running with this style. Okay, I'm gonna call it. Thanks for watching.